$16.5 million. That is how much Avengers Doomsday reportedly generated during its first 24 hours of advance ticket sales. But here's the receipt everyone keeps skipping. Those tickets were sold through approximately 1,000 premium format locations, not a normal nationwide all-format release. Then Disney announced that the trailer generated 503 million views across platforms in one day. And now YouTube has apparently completed the entire theatrical run 5 months before the movie opens. Marvel is back, baby! No, Marvel's dead. $2 billion guaranteed. Historic collapse incoming. Pick a thumbnail and begin yelling. But these numbers do not prove something important. They prove Marvel has recovered enormous attention and highly committed early demand. What they do not prove is whether the general audience has returned or whether Disney has simply built the most expensive nostalgia reunion in movie history. That is the question the box office still has to answer. I'm Chris, this is The Critical Nerd, and the strongest receipt in the story is not the trailer record, it is the money that has already changed hands. Let's begin with the number that required someone to open a wallet. According to reporting from Variety and The Wrap, Avengers Doomsday generated approximately $16.5 million in advance ticket sales during its first 24 hours. That is a substantial result. There's no honest way to look at that number and conclude there's no demand for this movie. People did not merely press play. They selected a theater. They selected a date. They selected an expensive premium format. And they purchased tickets for a movie that does not arrive until December. Some people do not commit to holiday plans that early. Marvel fans apparently looked at the movie 5 months away and said, "Yes, charge the card now. Christmas can work around Dr. Doom." That's real enthusiasm. It's also a very specific type of enthusiasm. The initial sale reportedly covered roughly 1,000 non-IMAX premium large format locations participating in Disney's new Infinity Vision program. This was not a standard nationwide ticket launch covering every screen, every format, and every casual customer who might decide to buy a ticket in December. It was a selected premium rollout aimed directly at the most committed portion of the audience. And that distinction is essential, because these sales tell us the committed fan floor is strong. They do not establish the casual audience ceiling. That is not an attempt to minimize the result. It is an attempt to measure it correctly. If a theater has 100 seats and all 100 sell, you know you had at least 100 customers. You do not know whether another 100 people wanted tickets. You certainly do not know whether another 1 million people were waiting outside carrying $20 bills and a small popcorn. A sellout proves demand exceeded the supply that was offered. It does not tell us how far that demand extends once the entire market becomes available. And this is where the headline stops matching the ledger. The $16.5 million is stronger evidence than the trailer views because money changed hands. But it came from the audience most likely to buy early, pay more, and attend regardless of reviews. That makes it a powerful early demand receipt. It does not make it a completed box office forecast. So the first answer is clear. Avengers Doomsday is not struggling to find committed Marvel customers. The committed customers are present. The next question is whether those customers represent the beginning of a much larger audience or almost the entire group willing to buy before anyone knows whether the movie's good. If you prefer entertainment covers that separates what a number proves from what a studio wants the number to imply, do me a favor. Smash that subscribe button, subscribe to the channel, because the next receipt is much bigger, much louder, and significantly easier to misuse. Disney reported that the full Avengers Doomsday trailer generated 503 million views across platforms during its first 24 hours. That made it Disney's largest trailer launch and reportedly the second biggest movie trailer debut ever, right behind Spider-Man Brand New Day. That is an extraordinary marketing achievement. Marvel can still dominate global attention when it combines the Avengers name with Thor, Steve Rogers, Dr. Doom, Robert Downey Jr., the Fantastic Four, and returning X-Men. That question's been answered. Marvel can still make the entertainment industry stop and look. But the correct sentence is, the trailer generated 503 million reported views. The incorrect sentence is 503 million people watched the trailer. A view is not necessarily one unique person. A single person can encounter the trailer on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, X, and multiple reaction videos. Repeat plays can contribute. Autoplay can contribute. Paid distribution can contribute. Embedded video can contribute. The same person can appear in the total more than once. Apparently, Marvel variants are no longer limited to the multiverse. Now each viewer gets 6 of them. Again, that does not make the number illegitimate. It tells us what the number measures. It measures reach. It measures attention. It measures the ability of Marvel's marketing operation to place this trailer almost everywhere at once. It does not directly measure ticket purchases. There's another important piece of context. This campaign did not begin with the full trailer when the full trailer appeared. No. Marvel released multiple character-focused teasers months earlier. The studio showed much of this footage to exhibitors and industry attendees at CinemaCon in April. That presentation generated descriptions, reactions, influencer coverage, and speculation long before the public trailer arrived. Then Marvel released the full trailer alongside premium ticket sales and immediately before its Comic-Con appearance. This was not one video accidentally going viral. It was the payoff of a coordinated months-long marketing campaign. And the campaign worked. Marvel built awareness, but awareness is only the first stage of the transaction. A trailer view tells us, I noticed this. A presale tells us, I am currently willing to pay for this. Opening weekend tells us, enough people converted. The second weekend tells us, the first customers may have liked it. And the final theatrical run tells us whether the movie became an event or merely open like one. These stages are related. They are not interchangeable, and this is where we arrive at the receipt everyone keeps treating like a conversion calculator. The obvious comparison is Deadpool and Wolverine. Its first major trailer generated a reported 365 million views in 24 hours. The movie then opened to approximately $211 million domestically and finished near $1.3 billion worldwide. That is meaningful evidence. It proves a gigantic trailer launch can accompany gigantic box office demand. What does not create is a universal mathematical formula. You cannot take 503 million divided by 365 million, multiply the result by the Deadpool and Wolverine opening, and announce that Doomsday has scientifically proven to open above 290 million. You can't put that number in a thumbnail. You can surround it with flames. You can add Robert Downey Jr. looking concerned, but it remains statistical fan fiction. Deadpool and Wolverine was a different product. It was rated R. It opened during the summer. It had broad access to IMAX and premium screens. It centered its campaign around Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. And it arrived with a relatively simple promise. Deadpool and Wolverine are finally in a movie together. Doomsday is a larger and more complicated event. It opens during Christmas. It has an enormous ensemble. It is trying to unite characters from several different franchise eras. And it is competing with Doom Part 3 for the most valuable premium screen customers. The Deadpool and Wolverine comparison establishes possibility. It does not establish inevitability. Trailer views can help identify demand floor. They do not establish a box office ceiling. And the best evidence of that may be the trailer currently holding the record. Spider-Man Brand New Day reportedly generated more than 718 million views in its first day. At the time of this recording, the movie hasn't opened yet. The record holder itself does not yet have a theatrical result. So using trailer rankings as completed box office evidence is slightly premature. It's like awarding the Super Bowl trophy based on preseason merchandise sales. Encouraging? Certainly. Final? Not unless the NFL has become significantly more efficient. But up to this point, this sounds like a video about forecasting one opening weekend. It's not. The real question is much larger. Has Marvel rebuilt demand for the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Or has Marvel assembled enough legacy characters to sell one enormous reunion? Because those are not the same accomplishment. And once we ask that question, the trailer campaign begins to look very different. Look at the characters Marvel has placed at the center of the campaign. Thor provides much of the trailer's emotional narration. Steve Rogers is positioned as the final reveal. Robert Downey Jr. is now playing Doctor Doom. The Fox-era X-Men are returning. The Fantastic Four are involved. Marvel is promoting the first Avengers-scale crossover since Endgame. It's not accidental. The campaign is using the most recognizable faces Marvel has available. The strategy is clear. If audiences have lost interest in the road Marvel has been traveling since Endgame, remind them who was in the car when the trip was still fun. Now, that strategy may work. It may work extremely well. But a customer buying a ticket to see Thor, Steve Rogers, Robert Downey Jr., and the old X-Men is not necessarily expressing renewed interest in every character, series, and storyline introduced during the multiverse saga. They may not be returning for the current MCU. They may be returning for the people Marvel brought back. That is more important interpretation of the 503 million views. The number proves extraordinary interest in this event package. It does not prove equal interest in the franchise underneath it. And Marvel cannot simply treat Doomsday as one final victory lap. Kevin Feige has said that Secret Wars will not completely reboot the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Marvel is expected to restructure, consolidate, and reposition pieces of the universe rather than erase everything and begin again. That means Disney is not spending all this money and deploying all of this nostalgia merely to sell 2 Avengers films. The studio's trying to transfer the audience from the legacy MCU into whatever comes next. And that transfer is the real business test. Marvel can probably sell the reunion. The harder question is whether anyone stays after the reunion ends. That explains why legacy characters matter. It does not explain why Marvel's largest marketing achievement is colliding with one of its most inconvenient theatrical limitations. For that, we return to the screen Disney does not control. Avengers Doomsday opens on December 18th. So does Doom Part 3. And Dune has the IMAX relationship. That leaves Doomsday without a normal opening weekend IMAX footprint. Disney's response is Infinity Vision. Now, Infinity Vision is not one newly invented projection technology. It is a certification and marketing program designed to group existing non-IMAX premium large format theaters under one recognizable Disney label. Now, that doesn't make it worthless. I mean, $16.5 million in pre-sales proves customers are willing to purchase Infinity Vision tickets. But even the IMAX CEO publicly characterized Infinity Vision as marketing because, well, it's what it is. Disney lost access to the most recognizable premium format and created a brand around the alternatives. It's Plan B with the Marvel logo. Potentially lucrative Plan B, but still Plan B. And here's the contradiction. Marvel has created one of the largest trailer launches ever recorded. Its most committed fans immediately purchased premium tickets. But the movie does not control the premium format most strongly associated with event cinema. That does not mean Doomsday will fail. It means Disney has to translate historic attention into maximum revenue without access to the exact screen format best positioned to monetize that attention. That is not merely a branding problem. It is an inventory problem. IMAX screens provide higher ticket prices, stronger event positioning, and limited premium capacity. Infinity Vision may recover much of that value, but until the movie opens, we do not know how close the replacement comes to the original. And that is where the opening weekend becomes only the first test. If the committed fans fill those premium locations immediately, Doomsday can still launch enormously. But the final theatrical result will depend on what happens when the movie moves beyond those customers. There's also a measurement error occurring on the skeptical side. I got to give a shout out to Ryan Kindle over at RK Outpost. If you haven't checked out his YouTube channel, check it out. He released a video arguing that Marvel is betting everything on Avengers Doomsday. His audience responded with comments about Wakanda fatigue, Marvel desperation, and the studio bringing back actors who had already left the franchise. Those comments are real. They're also coming from an audience that selected the channel known for skepticism toward Disney and Marvel. That does not invalidate the opinions. It limits what we can conclude from them. A skeptical channel's comment section is likely to contain skepticism. A Marvel fans channel their comment section is likely to contain enthusiasm. Both are useful focus groups. Neither is the entire theatrical market. A comment section is not a consensus. The broader movie-going audience is quieter, less committed to the online argument, and far more likely to make a purchasing decision after seeing another trailer, reading reviews, or needing something to do with the family over Christmas. The internet repeatedly confuses the loudest sample with the largest population. Marvel fans look at 503 million views and conclude everyone is back. Marvel critics look at hundreds of negative comments and conclude nobody's back. The pre-sales tell us some people are definitely back. The box office, well, that'll tell us how many. Now, the strongest counter-argument is obvious. Maybe all these qualifications are technically correct, but practically irrelevant. Maybe $16.5 million from approximately 1,000 premium locations combined with 503 million trailer views simply means the movie is going to be enormous. And to a point, I agree. The evidence increasingly supports a major opening weekend. A weak opening is becoming difficult to defend as the most likely outcome. Marvel has awareness. Marvel has committed fan demand. Marvel has recognizable legacy characters. Marvel has a Christmas release date. Marvel has the first Avengers event since Endgame. Those are serious advantages. So no, this is not a disguised prediction that Doomsday is going to flop. That would require ignoring the exact receipts this video is built around. But the bullish argument begins to overreach when it moves from, this will probably open very well, to, this will definitely reach $2 billion and prove the MCU is completely recovered. Those are different claims. Opening weekend urgency does not guarantee strong word of mouth. Pre-sales do not guarantee repeat viewing. Nostalgia does not guarantee franchise transfer. And committed customers do not automatically represent casual customers. The movie can open like a cultural event and still fail to answer Marvel's larger strategic problem. The real test is not whether Disney can convince people to see Steve Rogers, Thor, Doctor Doom, and the X-Men together. The real test is whether those people care about what Marvel sells after that experience. So what do the receipts currently support? They support the conclusion that Avengers Doomsday has enormous global awareness. They support the conclusion that Marvel's most committed fans are willing to purchase premium tickets months in advance. They support the conclusion that a major opening weekend is increasingly likely. But they do not yet establish the size of the casual audience. They do not establish the movie's word of mouth. They do not establish its second weekend hold. They do not establish a final worldwide total. And they do not establish that the MCU itself is recovered. The answer to the cold open question is this. Marvel has proven it can still sell attention. It has proven it can still sell early access to the reunion. It has not yet proven it can convert that attention into an entire theatrical run or carry that audience into the next era of the franchise. The next major receipt will be the broader all-format ticket launch, then official box office tracking, then opening weekend. But the most important number may arrive 1 week later, because opening weekend will tell us how effectively Marvel sold the event. The second weekend will begin telling us whether audiences liked the movie they purchased. And the releases after Secret Wars will tell us whether they returned for Marvel, or only returned for the people Marvel brought back. 503 million views is an extraordinary marketing accomplishment. $16.5 million is an impressive early demand receipt. Neither number is a completed box office prediction. Keep expectations low, keep receipts high, and maybe allow the movie to open before signing at $3 billion, 7 Oscars, and responsibility for rescuing Western civilization. Now, I want to hear from you guys out there. What's the strongest indicator of Doomsday's potential? The 503 million trailer views, the 16.5 million in premium pre-sales? Or do you think the real answer will not arrive until the second weekend hold? And more importantly, are audiences returning because they are interested in the future of the MCU? Or because Marvel brought back Steve Rogers, Thor, Robert Downey Jr., and the X-Men for one enormous reunion? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, smash that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and share it with someone who has already converted a trailer view total into a final worldwide gross. I'm Chris, the Critical Nerd. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.